Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and my coin factory family? Back again with another daily Casper and crypto live stream. I am so sorry. I said I was going to be going live at 8 o'clock on the dot, so 23 minutes ago, and I am very late. The reason why is because I was in the process of rendering out a brand new video for Casper that's going to be uploaded to this channel in about an hour's time or so. As soon as I finish the live stream, it will be uploaded. But it's, again, the video that I've just created is going to be, some overlap with the stream as well, but it's ultimately covering so much Casper Alpha. We have had a massive flurry of huge information that's come in such a short span of time for Casper. We just had a new KII project announced. We've got the Grayscale speculation. We're going to get into more of that in this stream as well. New listings, new integrations, smart contract leaks and developments as well. We also have some form of speculation again that it may be that Binance are leaking, that it may be Casper again. I haven't looked at this post very much, I just saw it now, so I have to get to that again in a moment. But there's a lot to cover, and I don't know if an hour is going to be enough time, to be honest, but we'll get through it as much as we can do. So much bullish stuff coming out for Casper. I mean, of course, as always, don't be emotional, be logical, but for me, Casper, again, is on the cusp of starting to see a significant rally and some more demand coming back as well. Paul Van Son, the chairman of the KII and DI Energy, said it best here as well for me, which is Casper is still hardly known in finance industry and broad public worldwide, but they will all discover Casper, not through the hyped stories and false expectations that many other projects in this space have. There are many projects in this space who have these massive, high expectations, and they're selling everyone a dream, But truth be told, they haven't got the infrastructure to be able to attain that. They've got partnerships, sure, but partnerships can only get you so far. Infrastructure is what really matters. That's why I'm not worried about Casper, because when it comes down to infrastructure, they are the best, in my belief, in this space. They may be slower than other ones, but they are the best in this space, and the partnerships will come through to them in due time. So by experiencing the true value of security, processing speed, and smarter clean energy use, all people will start coming to Casper, and I agree here, Paul Van Son. The KI updates in this stream is going to be absolutely massive, equally in the video later on as well. So much more to get into as always, so I apologize again for being late, but we are here now covering the daily Casper and crypto from it. If you enjoy this informative content that we do every single day without fail, then leave a like, you know the deal. Share with your friends to get them involved in crypto and Casper before the price starts to rally, and of course subscribe for more. If you want to know more about other crypto and market sentiment, then by all means come check out the free community Discord server. Links down on the homepage right here, also in the description, and also we have the VIP group as well. Go check that out as well. We'll get into all of that stuff later on though, but for me, huge things are about to come out for Casper. I truly believe that may, and I'm not, again, don't be emotional, don't get your hopes up type of thing. Just remain logical and just keep researching and understand the fundamentals. But for me, I think that May could be probably the most pivotal time for crypto, and in particular for Casper as well. And I think Grayscale are gearing up for an ETF. Very bullish stuff all around. So welcome back everyone to the stream. Once again, Lau, my brother, welcome back. You too, John Doe, sup, my man. Dimotar, Casper the future. It is so simple. It's never been more simple in my life. What's up, Kryptona, my man? Welcome back. Ronnie, you too, yo, give me that Casper Alpha. I have a new miner coming. Well, you'll get it, my man. Don't worry. And hopefully that miner will look very good when the price reverses. So will the money come back as well. Welcome back, Buffalo Thing, my man. Welcome back indeed. And all money in. Why do you think, Casper, everyone is so bearish on Casper? Everyone's bearish on Casper because the price has been terrible in correlation to expectations. Where Casper's at right now, in my opinion, is probably where it should be. Well, maybe a little bit lower than we expect. But this whole pump for Casper from, well, as soon as we got to 5 cents, that was good. But then we had an explosion from 5 cents to 15 cents, and then we had a, up and down up to 20 cents. I personally believe, and quite evidently now as proven from the market chart, this was way too high, way too early. And now we are seeing a correction of 70 to 75% since the all-time highs. And it's very interesting to talk about that because Casper's done a 75% pullback from all-time highs in a span of 9 months or so. 90% of all crypto projects are equally down as much from the local highs, if not all-time highs, but they did it in like 3 months since Trump took office. Casper just did it more slowly and gradually. So when you compare Casper in regards to other projects right now in terms of price action, The correction and the price pullback is the same. It's just happened on a longer prolonged period of time. So, you know, but because it's been such a long time of pullbacks, the bullish sentiment has fallen off. If you see a quick pullback in 3 months, you're like, okay, it's just the macro news, it's whatever. Like it's because the markets are affecting the price. You're not that worried about it. But when you see a long, prolonged pullback of 9 months, despite a lot of bullish developments coming out, it makes you start to lose hope. Emotions take over and the logic loses. But the logical for me is Kaspa is in the prime right now. It's so early, it's in its infancy and it's about to explode. Not financial advice, my personal belief, but what's coming up for Kaspa, for me personally, I think the FOMO is about to drive back in very, very much. The cycle we're in right now, in the first half, leading up to Trump's inauguration, was a FOMO hype-driven market. That's why we saw Bitcoin go to $109,000. That was FOMO. People just driving on the hype. That's why meme coins went parabolic. That's why everyone went to meme coins. That's why there was an AI meta as well. But now, the AI agent meta, it's still relevant and still very important. And there's a lot of information about that in my community, which I definitely might talk about later on as well. But the AI agent meta and meme coin meta, that was hype driven. Now we're in a space where utility and fundamentals actually matter. Because institutions are starting to get involved in the space. They don't want hype. They want something that's going to work for their monetary purposes. So now you need something that has good fundamentals. Now, will the meme coins fall off? There might be a significant, liquidation, culling. A lot of memes just completely dying off because they have no use case besides just being a pump and dump. But ones that have actual use case, the memes and, more importantly, the actual crypto that have use case that aren't just rip-off replicas. Like, you got XRP, for example. I'm sure there are other XRP alternatives out there that, compared to XRP, they're nowhere near as good. And they're going to fall off, because why would you go for something that's not as good and smaller when you have the big natural thing there? Same for Kaspa. Kaspa is unique in its own regard, and it's building a lot of very, very, it's so impressive developments right now. And you've already seen numerous projects come out that claim to be the next Kaspa. Pyron, for example. Look at where Pyron's at right now. We can check it out real quick, actually. Look at Pyron right now. P-Y-R-N, Pyron. Pyron is non-existent. And this is meant to be the Kaspa killer. So there's going to be a lot of projects in this space that probably undergo a similar sort of, life cycle. They come out trying to be something coming out, trying to be something good, and just come to nothing. So to answer your question in a shorter phrase, or all money in, the reason why bearish sentiment there for Kaspa still is because people are so held up on the price, and people think it's not going to get adoption. But for me personally, the adoption's already there. I'm going to prove that in this stream, and there's going to be a lot more coming through. And Kaspa is going to surprise everyone in the cycle, my personal belief. I'm not saying Moon Boy. I don't do price predictions anymore, but I think also what ruins it as well, there was a lot of Moon Boy price predictions when Kaspa reached 20 cents here. People were saying $10 Kaspa. And, who knows what's going to happen this time around. I'm skeptical about it. But for me, Kaspa is still going to surpass all-time highs at the very least this cycle and go on an absolute tear for the years to come with what's coming out. So before I get to more of the pleasantries and more of the questions, I'm going to get into some of the Kaspa news. There's so much to cover in this stream today, and equally there's a lot more in regards to again, a lot of the stuff I'm covering in today's stream will also be made, and it's been made and edited and put into a video that's going to be released in about an hour's time. So again, if you want to find a more structured version of that, check that out definitely as well. But there's going to be more info covered in this stream as well to give a little bit of other stuff as well. Anyways, that being said, look at the market chart right now. We can see Bitcoin is currently at just short of $85,000, 1.88% up on the daily time frame, which is good to see. Ethereum's up, XRP is up, everything's doing very, very well. Kaspa is not moving much, it's currently down 0.64%, so it's not moved much at all. Still valued at 7.49, basically 7.5 cents. And for me, it makes complete sense. We can see right now, looking at the market chart, this is a very, very strong level of resistance. So this is going to be a very hard zone to break out. It makes sense right now. Kaspa right now saw a very, very nice pump following the tariff pause from Trump and, I guess market sentiment coming back a little bit. You've seen a 25% pump over the last 3 days. And Kaspa and I did say this in my last few streams, if you remember, Kaspa broke out of this downward sloping wedge, so it should potentially start trading within this zone for the next couple of days, weeks, leading into early May with the M2 starting to look better as well. into May, which therefore means that Bitcoin should be following the M2. Therefore, we should hopefully be seeing the return. We see Bitcoin therefore start to make a return going into May as well, June time. And Kaspa will hopefully follow in suit because so many big developers of Kaspa are coming out in May as well. So you may see Kaspa actually do a very, very similar movement in that regard. We'll have to wait and see, of course, but I do think Kaspa, again, May will be a very, very big time. And right now, the FOMO is starting to drive back in again, and I think it's by design. I think Tier 1s and other major listings are on the horizon. I do think Grayscale also are potentially about to launch a Kaspa ETF, and we'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, Kaspa right now is down a little bit, but I'm not worried about it. I've never been worried about the price for Kaspa because I think what's coming trumps the short-term price. The long-term is truly, truly groundbreaking. So our first source here actually is from Chris Kang. In fact, no, we'll come back to this a little bit later on. This one I loaded up relatively quickly. I need to find the right place to put this. I think it'll be here. Yeah, so we'll put it here. So yeah, the first post here comes from Kaspa Silver. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but this stream is going to basically be kind of delving a bit more into the reason why I personally, again, I don't know myself, it's speculation, but me personally, I don't think Grayscale moving on. I think they're preparing for a listing. So we covered this yesterday. Kaspa Silver made a post taking a screenshot from the Grayscale website, where originally Kaspa was here under consideration from Grayscale's website, and now it's been removed. So people are now finding that as quite bearish news, understandably, but it may be more than meets the eye. Kaspa Silver had a buddy reach out to them, and they let them know that they ensure that all coins in the top 50 get listed. All 50 in the top 50. And while Kaspa has struggled within the top 50 for the past couple of weeks, if not a few months now, Kaspa has always been a top 50 contender, and at its peak, back in August, Kaspa was valued at in the top 20 even. And if we look at Kaspa right now, while it's fallen from grace a little bit, Kaspa's still at 45. So it's still considered top 50. So with that in regard, that leads us to believe, and we can speculate, it's still speculation though, that while Kaspa is considered still quite comfortably, still, a top 50 contender, that it's been removed from as under consideration, it's going to probably get listed. Because only two things this means, therefore. For them to be removed from consideration, it means two things. Either they are about to prepare a Kaspa listing, therefore ETFs for Kaspa coming out very, very soon, or they have completely moved on. And, this is Wall Street we're talking about. The smart money, they're not idiots. There's a reason why they're the most, influential and rich company in the world are part of Wall Street. They're not idiots. They know and see a good investment. They know a good investment opportunity when they see it. And what's coming out for Kaspa in the next couple of weeks is not just the most historic thing Kaspa's ever done in its life. It's for crypto as a whole. Staying decentralized while having the speed of a proof of stake and faster than that is insane, and it's never been done before. So for me personally, I believe that this is actually potentially an indicator that Grayscale are about to actually add Kaspa to the product suite as an ETF. And I can prove that further in this stream as well. Because what's coming out for Kaspa, simply put, why would you, again, this is me personally, but why would I want to fade Kaspa at this current moment in time? It's come down 70, 60, 65% or something since all-time highs. So yeah, it's been a long haul, no doubt. But why would you fade Kaspa at this current moment when what's coming out in the next weeks, if not months or so, is going to significantly shake this space? Not Kaspa, shake this space. Everything entirely. So I think Grayscale preparing. First one here we highlighted also yesterday, Kaspador leaked some information. I might get fired from Casplex for doing this, but we had an internal meeting with some very, very major updates from L2s and Casplex. There's a public testnet coming out just around the corner, which is very good, and that's also further proven in this post here. A few more updates and fine-tuning on the based layer 2 rollups for Casplex, and we're good to go. So very, very soon. Kaspa's very, very quick, the fastest and most secured decentralized layer 1, and it's it's the end game. Based rollups, the sequencing of the transactions is done on Kaspa, no third party needed, more secure, decentralized endgame. It's an endgame not just for Kaspa but for crypto as a whole, because nothing has ever happened. This has never been done before, and it's happening before our eyes. He also highlights, in continuation of that a mainnet won't take months. So of course he can't say exactly when. I don't think they've got a proper timeline for that, I'd imagine, but it won't take months. Now we know 10 BPS on the mainnet. The activation for Crescendo hard fork is happening on the 5th of May, which, to do some quick maths in my head, I should load up the visualizer, but I haven't done. I was trying to load up my calendar, but that's not loading up right now. So that's fantastic. Is my PC frozen? No, but it's just being funny. Okay, well, point being, I'm going to say estimate from 5th of May right now is probably about 24-ish days, 25, 24 days from now, give or take. Yeah, about 24, 25 days. So 25 days time, we see 10 BPS activated onto the mainnet. And Kaspa is highlighting here, it won't take months. We've seen from Johnny, who's the executive vice president of the KEF, that the opcodes implementation, like burn and chow and that sort of stuff, that is important and necessary for stablecoins, is going to be added in May. And now we got from Capital saying it won't take months. So, you know, while I'm just spitballing here, I am coming to the prediction that we'll see 10 BPS on the mainnet early May, and in May as well, worst case, early June, in my belief. Again, things may, you know, take a turn for the worse, unfortunately, touch wood. But in my speculation, we'll see 10 BPS on the mainnet early May, and then stablecoin implementation, the opcodes for stablecoin implementation equally in May, and equally the mainnet launch for Kaspa, which is going to be the first stage of smart contracts coming on Kaspa, all taking place in May when the M2 is starting to make a reversal into higher highs as well. The market is looking like it's starting to make a bit of a reversal now. Again, depends on what Trump tariffs do. If Trump's tariffs come back out and they cause more FUD, we'll go back down again. That's going to happen. But the macro developments for the other side of things for crypto, the regulatory policies and the sentiment from Wall Street as well, is growing more and more for crypto adoption. So everything's good for crypto. It's just the tariffs right now and war that's keeping it down. But everything else right now is looking good for crypto. And Kaspa has got so much big things coming out for May. You could argue this is all by design. They planned it all to come out in May, believing that's going to be the time you see a big reversal. And tier ones and Grayscale may also be playing that factor as well. Playing that factor as well. Believe we're going to see Ray being a potential huge rally for Kaspa going forward. You've got documentation, GitHub APIs ready as well. New website coming out next week, and Blockchain Explorer link will be shared before the testnet launch. There's a lot of info leaked here from Kaspa Door, which is very, very exciting. And we can see again, not far off now. And equally, which is very funny as well, which also highlighted yesterday, Casplex didn't tell Kaspa Door about this, so he couldn't leak it, but they confirmed here that smart contracts can now be verified on the layer 2. So when the mainnet launch is coming out, you know, it won't take months, so you can speculate. I believe it's going to be, in my belief, it'll be this quarter. Best case, I'd say May. Worst case, I believe end of June, but it'll be this quarter. It means that smart contracts are going to be coming out for Kaspa within the next 2 months. 10 BPS on the mainnet's coming out in the next 25 days. And stablecoins are coming out sometime in the next month or two as well for Kaspa. And you'll see, as KF also confirmed, Johnny confirmed, they're currently in conversation with USDT Tether. The only thing they're trying to decide right now is whether they're going to actually onboard Tether, native Tether, onto the Casplex and KF and Kaspa, or they're going to bridge Tether on top of it. So again, we're not that far off in regards to stablecoins like Tether, and also I've seen some stuff about Circle as well, potentially coming on that as well. I think Zeller Swaps announced it. So big stablecoins, and you'll probably see native stablecoins as well coming online as well for Kaspa. So May is going to be huge. And we can see Zeller Swaps again making more announcements here. Big news, we're thrilled to announce that we're the very first decentralized exchange deployed on the Casplex DevNet. That's big for me because Zeller Swaps is also one of the 10 projects that are working on Igra Labs DevNet. So Zeller Swaps have the best of both worlds, both Casplex and Igra Labs. I think Zeller Swaps might end up being the biggest DEX, at least in the initial stage right now, the biggest DEX for Kaspa. So hopefully they can do really, really well and gain trust, because the problem with anything is just trying to remain, you know, transparent and trustful. And I've seen and heard so many well-renowned projects in the Kaspa community that have just lost people's trust and faith due to just some very dodgy things, not being transparent. And it hurts the project like that, and it hurts the community as well. So hopefully Zeller Swaps remains transparent with people, and they communicate with the community, because what we want to hear right now. But this is good to see. And they also announced they're introducing the Zealous Boost program. So you can now they're looking to fund your liquidity pool at their launch. So they're offering initial liquidity support to the top projects. So you get launched with strong liquidity, getting early exposure to on the feature-rich and low-fee decks, and you'll join a growing ecosystem built for performance and innovation. So Zeller Swaps again is looking very, very strong. And this again, more proof smart contracts are coming to Kaspa. It's seemingly months away now. And that is one of many big factors as to why I believe that Grayscale have removed it, but they haven't removed it to move on. They've removed it to prepare for adding it into the product suite. And there's a whole thread here, which I'll be linking in my community later on today, talking about why even compatible layer 2s are so important. They're a necessity for Kaspa. I'll also be just saying you can very seamlessly bridge from Ethereum to Kaspa, and there's no downside to it. You just go to Kaspa, therefore it's quicker, cheaper, and it's more decentralized and secure. So there's no downside to doing that. You might as well, effectively. And it also just brings a new economic layer. In fact, I'll touch on this a little bit more, actually. An EVM layer 2 doesn't just enable smart contracts, it unlocks markets such as lending and borrowing protocols, very big, derivatives and perpetuals, so that's futures, also very big, prediction markets, real-world assets and tokenized assets. That for me is even bigger because we've heard in numerous occasions the likes of Larry Fink, the BlackRock CEO, talk about how he wants to tokenize everything. Stocks, bonds, real estate. He wants to tokenize everything on blockchain and crypto. So Kaspa is now tapping into the tokenization market. And furthermore, I've heard from predictions and whatnot, and again, this is just predictions, but from Wall Street and institutions talking about the fact that they predict the tokenization market to be valued at $18.9 trillion by 2033. That's 2 bull cycles away, that's in 8 years. 2033 is not that far off. So Kaspa's going to be effectively tapping into a $18.9 speculated $1 trillion market, which is huge. And Kaspa, of course, for me, is a very, very solid pick. And that plays into, again, to Paul Van Zandt saying, Kaspa's hardly known right now, but everyone will discover it because what they're building is just so innovative. Chris Kang also makes a post here talking a bit more technical explanation on the based rollup, which I'll also link in my community later on. It might be a bit complex for some people, but either way, very insightful information. So I'll link this in my community, my free community, which I'll link down below in the description. Also my homepage as well. Check it out right there. All information that we talk about in these streams, I post in there as well, so you can find it out easier. And equally, I repost a lot of it and make posts about it on my Twitter as well. You can follow me there. Quick Crypto, also in my description, also homepage as well. But it's so much coming to Kaspa and it's insane. And of course, then you've got the KII. Paul Van Zandt, the chairman of the KII and DI Energy. They announced a brand new project. They've been leaking it for some time now. It's very interesting. I told you more things are coming. I'm Envy. And we can see here, KII are announcing the Kaspa Orbital Node Initiative, aka KONI. They are sending a Kaspa node into space. Like what? We've all seen the post regarding Kaspa nodes in the White House, and while we can come to the conclusion that it's probably not the case, that the White House are mining Kaspa, it's just a VPN or something like that, this is even more mind-blowing to me. White House is one thing, a node in space? That's nuts. Why are they doing that? Well, the reason why is because why not? They said this here. Why would they do that? Because they think they want to. They think they can do. What they want to do is to prove that Kaspa can, what did I say here? I said it here. They want to just prove that Kaspa can, supersede borders. Global. There's no borders in space after all. So that's very, very interesting. So the KONI is a bold symbolic mission to deploy a compact Kaspa blockchain node into low Earth orbit. Designed for ultra-low power and small factor, the KONI satellite acts to add resilience, geopolitical neutrality, and decentralization of Kaspa via network snapshots from orbit. Why does it matter? Kaspa beyond global borders. First block DAG node in space. Proves fault-tolerant architecture beyond Earth. Signals Kaspa's role in the future of global infrastructure, global visibility, test bed for new technology, and community participation. It's pretty much just a way of just saying, we want Kaspa to just be that thing going forward. So what we could do to get more attention to Kaspa is just launch one of their nodes into space. And that for me that's mental. There's no need to do that, but they're doing it anyways. The timeline right now, the design's already underway, and the launch provider discussions are happening right now as we speak. There's going to be a hardware prototype happening next. We don't know exactly when, but the launch window is sometime in 2026 next year, which is not that far. And the mission duration will be over 2 years as well. This is why I keep talking about how this year is going to be such a big year for Kaspa. This is happening next year. Of course, but these developments and discussions are taking place right here, right now. For me as an investor, I want to get in before this takes place. Chris Kang highlights here what's the difference between running a node in space and at home. I'm still struggling to find the big significance of why. Chris Hutchinson highlights here potentially because getting a government to try and shut down a node in space will prove a lot harder than trying to shut down on your home. That could be a reason for it. Exactly the reasons why I think is still up in the air, but they're doing it because they want to do it, and I think that's quite funny. But again, it's just for me, it's a kind of just highlighting it once more what Kaspa's trying to do. It's so out of this world. Literally, KRI don't fade them. They're going to send Kaspa to the moon, like literally, and it's insane to me. And that's one of many projects that KRI put in with Kaspa. This is the latest one, but it has some other very big projects as well. The likes of this one here, which I also spoke about yesterday here, but I didn't get into the nitty-gritty of it, and I've just discovered something which I should have realized a while back, but I didn't, and now I'm even more bullish, right? It's the partners. We talk about partners all the time. You've got Shell, very big. You've got Hyundai, very big. You've got Siemens Energy, also very big. DHL, Bosch, you've got E.ON, also very, all these institutions are very big and well-renowned and whatnot. But there's one I missed. Don't know how I missed it, but I've seen it now. Is PwC. PwC is deemed as one of the big four accounting firms, alongside KPMG, alongside Deloitte, alongside Ernst & Young. That for me, I mean, to be fair, there might be projects in here that are bigger than PwC, but for me, that is such a big deal. Being part of the big four, and they are an associated partner of DI Data Energy, therefore that means they are an associated partner of KRI and therefore of Kaspa. PwC is working with Kaspa, and we've seen posts from the KRI. They confirmed they're going to be meeting with all of these partners in Abu Dhabi in early May time, and I asked them, and they confirmed they will be talking about Kaspa and Kaspa projects. And we've heard already from the KRI back in December, they are, presenting the stablecoin, gigawatt stablecoin, and also the warp core to these clients, and it has all been very well received. So you have institutions like Shell, Siemens, Hyundai, Bosch, DHL, E.ON, and many more, and PwC, who are seemingly bullish on what's being built. Harnessing, therefore, they're bullish on Kaspa, and that means, therefore, they're probably also going to be very intrigued to see this sort of stuff come into fruition as well. I've been saying it time and time again, and it's even more relevant now. Just don't fade the KRI. Institutional adoption for Kaspa is definitely lackluster in comparison to other projects right now, because the use case also is relatively lackluster right now. But we're seeing all the utility coming out to Kaspa in the next 2 months, and then from that point onwards as well, even more so. And the KRI are preparing now to start launching all their projects with their institutional clients. Kaspa's adoption might supersede what we expect, and therefore the price may supersede what we expect as well. Paul Van Sanden says no one knows about it, but they all discover it very soon. Not through hype, although I guess my job technically here is being the hype man and FOMO for Kaspa, but I do because I love Kaspa, and I think they'll do very well, and there's more coming out for it. But as I mentioned, this cycle right now is shaping away from hype and more to fundamentals, and people will not hear about hype. Well, people will be hyped by Kaspa, no doubt, of course, but they'll stay. They'll come to the hype, but they'll stay for the fundamentals and what it actually does. Going back to this post again, and I've missed questions, I'm sure. I'll get into this question in a moment here. This is ZETA, which is the Zero Emissions Traders Alliance, right? So it's ultimately, again, proving that institutions like Shell and PwC are working alongside DRI, KRI, and therefore Kaspa. Zero Emissions Traders Alliance is an initiative designed to help shape a transparent market for physical and virtual clean energy products with a focus on the MENA region. KRI have already confirmed that ZETEX, the KRI project, is focusing right now only on the MENA region and then expanding from that point onwards as well. And ZETA is a standalone entity in close cooperation with DRI Data Energy. He also announced, KRI confirmed, this information, by the way, that I'm spitballing on top of my head right now, but this information is available in my free community, so you can, fact check me there. KRI, in fact, you know what? Because I can, I'll fact check all of you right now. Not that you need to see it, but I will either way. Is it this one? No, there's a post where, yeah, here it is. KRI confirms, responding to Captain Sats here, when he says, about ZETX. ZETX will initially focus on the Middle Eastern market, so MENA, but will be based on new standards implemented by the energy trading industry participants. So that also coincides with this post here. Then furthermore, the total addressable market by 2030, so in 5 years' time, will be larger than the total market cap of crypto today. That was on March 25th, and I believe at the time of that, we were looking at a similar market today, so that would be in and around a $2.7 trillion market. So by logic, therefore, the KRI is saying that the energy market that Kaspa is going to be tapping into will be above, well, close to $3 trillion in value, which is absolutely nuts. Kaspa going to be tapping into a $3 trillion market with institutions like institutions like PwC, Shell, and much, much more. That's what's coming to Kaspa. And Kryptoni, damn. For the $20 donation, thank you very much, my man. Coney is for fault protection and blockchain history snapshots. Think cloud backup for the entire chain in case of an anomaly. Well, again, thank you very much for the insight. And yes, that makes things so much clearer now. And again, a complete, blanket reveal from the head of what's happening for Kaspa and what's coming from the KRI. They're trying to make Kaspa just impenetrable. Imagine the Pentagon, but even more secure. They're making Kaspa so much stronger, having backups upon backups with decentralization. That is absolutely huge news again. The KRI are groundbreaking, so I thank you very much. I cannot thank you enough, Kryptoni, for the donation, and even everyone who's watching right now. That's why I'm bullish on Kaspa. That's why when the price is down, I haven't been bearish and upset for a moment. I mean, of course, it's not great to see the price come down, but when you see what's coming out, why would you be bearish? Why would you be bearish, in my belief? What's coming out to Kaspa is going to shake this space. Their partnerships are massive, and the market they're trying to tap into with Kaspa is also huge. And it's just more and more coming from here. Kaspa has so much coming out for it, and this again plays into the initial point, which again I mentioned in my video I'm releasing later, that I don't see why Grayscale would move on from Kaspa here. Why would you move on when all of these massive projects are being talked about? And to further prove credibility to that, and I'm going to preload this one again because facts is always great. I need to type in KII in my Discord community in the search bar so I can see where they mentioned that they were talking to the SEC Crypto Task Force and other agencies. My whole point is the KRI have confirmed that they have approached and spoke to, or they were speaking to, I'm sure they've done it already now, to the SEC Crypto Task Force and other agencies to discuss Kaspa, what's happening as well, and other elements. And that once more plays into the idea that, therefore Wall Street, Grayscale institutions like this will most definitely understand and know of Kaspa. How far back do I have to go in my feed, in my Discord community to find this? Here it is, thank you. Which one do I want? I want this one, yeah. So we can see right here, once more proof, because proof always trumps all this. Proof trumps emotions. Sources trumps emotions. So we can see here, they're talking about how they're going to be meeting with the SEC Crypto Task Force. And he says, whilst in DC, we'll be meeting with a lot of other agencies as well, and institutions and others to discuss Kaspa and the projects being built on it. Some relating to energy trading and other businesses. So they're talking to SEC about taxonomy, but they're talking to other institutions and agencies about Kaspa as well. So that again plays into the point that Grayscale may be one of the institutions, and while they are considering Kaspa, is now gone. But if KRI and Kaspa becoming more and more renowned and known in the institution market, with thanks to KRI and other entities as well, for me, again, this is speculative still, but I like to believe it. For me, it's logical sense. Why would you fade Kaspa here, with what's coming out for it from the KRI and developments of Kaspa as well and smart contracts, when it's about to undergo the biggest transformation of its life ever, and crypto for that matter as well. Playing into the point again that, but don't get me wrong, ETFs is not the end game for Kaspa, as Kaspa highlights here as well. ETFs should not be the end goal for a peer-to-peer proof of work cryptocurrency, and I agree. But it would be good for initial adoption, no doubt, and also it would definitely quieten a lot of the Kaspa faders and fudders, which makes sense as well for me. And it would also just reignite the belief that Kaspa is going to do amazing things. Because a lot of people are still trapped behind the idea that you need the Wall Street adoption. I don't think you do, but there's an argument to be made there, I guess. But this is absolutely massive, massive news, no doubt. And this is what's coming out. You might see Grayscale list very, very soon. You might see tier ones like Binance, other ones listing very, very soon, to which we've got some other updates regarding more partnerships and listings as well, and much more I'll get into just in a moment. Beforehand, I need to answer some questions because it has been 40 odd minutes of me just talking and dropping alpha after alpha, and there's still more to come. Still more to come. Welcome back, Chris W, bro. Hope you have a very, very good day. What's up, my man? Dagnite, if the stuff dreams are made of. Yeah, I mean, Dagnite's also meant to be coming out later this year as well, which Michael Sutton confirmed potentially the end of this year, which is very, very big. And actually, Dagnite's the reason why the KI approached Kaspa as well as a key part in that. And Tom Polinsky recently at the Web3 Festival in Hong Kong, he spoke about Dagnite and how it makes Kaspa internet chaos resistant. The idea that if the internet has some form of cyber attack or some form of geopolitical issue, whatever it may be, and then for the internet split off into different regions, let's say, for example, China's internet decoupled from America's internet, if you had it on blockchain, on Bitcoin, it would cause issues. I made a video about it, so I don't think I could just feeble it on the top of my head. The last video I made on Kaspa here did go into a lot more detail about that, so definitely go check that one out if you haven't done so already. But ultimately just gave an analogy of exactly what Bitcoin would do in the internet chaos theory and how Kaspa supersedes that and does not get affected by it, at least not as severely. So that is going to be a big thing for Kaspa, no doubt. What's up, DD, my man? Hope you're doing very, very well. Check the like is minus 10%. I mean, yeah, 16 likes right now is not bad at all. But we can see right now Kaspa's currently down a little bit. We look at other key indicators as well. Look, Bitcoin dominance right now is still very, very high, 63.3%. Equally, we can look at the Kas Bitcoin dominance. You see it's currently coming down a little bit, but it's still minus 30%, so it's not doing too badly. And for me, Kaspa is about to do this very soon. I'm hoping in May. Again, this is just me speculating. It's not confirmation at all. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, trade your own discretion, all that sort of stuff. But what's coming out is going to be huge. And lining up the M2 supply, and again, we get no macro FUD news. I'm talking again the Trump tariffs and whatnot that caused a lot of downwards in the market. What's coming out in May could be a very big reversal for Bitcoin and equally Kaspa as well. We have to wait and see though. What's up, my man? Holy hell, a lot of nothing again. I believe in the project and have okay. I mean, maybe I just misunderstood the question. I mean, effectively, I'm guessing you're saying there's nothing more coming. There's a whole lot of nothing coming to Kaspa again. I would argue there's definitely not nothing. I'd argue actually quite a big deal. And even Kryptoni highlighted exactly the significance of the space node, and of course all the other stuff as well. Like, I mean, yeah, Kaspa's got a hell of a lot coming to it. And while the price has been bad, and the reason why people fade Kaspa now is because they are so, I want to say blinded, but I guess it's maybe not fair to say because it's definitely a thing you need to take into account, of course. But they're so focused on this, and therefore they're using this to then start looking at it like from this perspective as well. How it's done nothing for a whole year, and truth be told, it's not been a whole year. That's why I keep saying it's been 9 months, because it started dip. Once it got to 31st July, 1st August, then it started coming down. No one cared. No one was fading Kaspa here. Everyone was FOMOing in. People started fading Kaspa, once it's come down here. Now I'm saying, it's been a whole bad year. Not been a bad year. It's been a bad 9 months. I mean, it's still close to a year now. Don't get me wrong. But again, for me, I think Kaspa just rallied up too high too early. And that goes into the first comment that we had in the stream, which is like, why are people still bearish on Kaspa? I think they're bearish on Kaspa because they got drawn into the FOMO, to the hype, to the Moon Boy numbers. And now that reality set in, and people are now making more realistic type predictions, they're like, oh, it's just not great anymore. Or they're losing hope because the price has done nothing for so long. But again, the correction for Kaspa is very, very similar to many other projects in this space. 60% from all-time highs. Look at Ethereum from local highs. Ethereum, of course, is the second biggest asset in this space. From local highs, Ethereum is down 60% as well. And from all-time highs, it's down further. Sui is somewhat of an outlier, but even then, Sui is down about 50%, 57%. Even Sui is down quite a lot. You got C, you got Tau, you got Algorand, you got H-bar. The only true outliers that have done very well so far is Bitcoin, of course, being the number one, and XRP, purely because XRP, in the time of Trump's inauguration and Gary Gensler stepping down, it had basically the confirmation, and it has been confirmed effectively, the lawsuit's being dropped. So the price suppression has been removed effectively. So XRP is only down about, 37%? So it's held up quite well. Those are the two outliers. Everything else has come down drastically. And Kaspa just had a much longer corrective path, but even then it's down about the same percent. So yeah, this is. I mean, I'm not bearish on Kaspa, and I would argue, it's not my personal opinion again. I'd argue that now is a perfect time to DCA into Kaspa, in preparation for what's coming out next month, the months to follow. this year, I still think it'll be a very, very explosive one for Kaspa going forward. I hear Mr. Mars set up a Kaspa node in the White House and the Kremlin. Yeah, Mr. Mars is everywhere, man. I was looking for all Kaspa YouTubers more than 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, the Kaspa YouTubers have pretty much just fallen off right now. Yeah, all others left, only you and Trudy Kaspa and Ambassador. Yeah, I mean, a lot, Kaspa, you know, a year or two ago when Kaspa was sitting at these highs here, everyone was covering Kaspa. And it makes sense, you know, a lot of channels in this space, because it's also what you do. Some people don't talk crypto in the sense of talking about crypto. They talk about crypto because it's YouTube. So they're using YouTube as the, you know, investment element, if you will. My whole premise is, and you know, I have done that on my channel a little bit. Like I made a video on XEN, which XEN, you know, recently had an absolute parabolic tear. We saw XEN over the last 3 or 4 days go from down here and jumped up, you know, 3.5x or so. And XEN had a very, very good tear back here as well. So I made a video on XEN, I think around here, missed the pump, but again, it's the point of, you know, covering what's popular at the time. And Kaspa, you know, when you look at a chart like this for Kaspa, and you're looking at it like from this perspective here, everyone's talking about Kaspa here. And even then, when you're looking at it here, people are still talking about Kaspa here because it had a bit of a correction, but it's still looking decent. Then, in particular in the last 4 or 5 months, since end of the year, since December time, and it's come down here, then a lot of them start fading it because they're like, oh, okay, well, Kaspa's not popular anymore. You know, for me, again, you do as you will as an investor. I have no problem with people who have less Kaspa. I have no problem at all. If you don't believe in Kaspa, that's perfectly fine. But for me, I'm not just looking at projects in the short term. I'm looking for a long-term play. And so Kaspa for me will do well in this cycle, my belief. I'm looking for a long-term play as well. And Kaspa, I do perceive as something similar to Bitcoin. It can do very, very well for cycles to come due to its proof of work element. And it's come down drastically. And I can almost guarantee, as it would happen anyways, that all those who faded Kaspa, we will start talking about Kaspa again. For me, not a matter of if, but a matter of when Kaspa starts to make a rally again. And Kaspa starts to come back to 15 cents. You'll probably start people start to come back a little bit. And when it goes up to here, they'll all start coming back. And when it gets above it, you'll see new people come through. Oh, Kaspa's now going to be the next big thing. And, you know, that's all well and good. And again, you know, game's game, get your bag. You know, I'm not against that. I respect a hustler, but for me, I just think, like, if you are part of a community like that, who's watching the people who are doing that, why would you want to look at something when it's up here, when you can get the big information of what's coming up for it very soon when it's down here? And again, you know, for me, it's always a possibility Kaspa goes down. But for me right now, for how down it's come, I think there's a higher likelihood it's going to start rallying up higher. Because you've got so many big catalysts coming through. 10 BPS, smart contracts, stable coins, all coming out the next like month or two. You've got then tier ones that may use that as event catalyst to start listing the project as well. KRI launching more of their project. They needed an EVM, a smart contract platform to launch their project, and that's coming out right now. Speaking of listings as well, actually, and my YouTube studio just crashed. That's fantastic. So I've now got to reload all of the chat. I don't even know what question I was on. There, Dimitar's loaded up perfectly. Okay. So yeah, we've got only a few other updates here. So we've got this one here from okay, well that's just fantastic. I'm now being told I've got to verify my YouTube studio whilst I'm streaming. That's not helpful at all. I apologise for this, guys, but if I don't do this, something might go wrong with the YouTube and then you can't watch my streams anymore. So, but I'll talk about it while I'm streaming anyway, so I think it should all be good right now, I pray. Let me look at the stream right now. Looks like it's all going good. Okay, well, whilst I do this, I'll spitball. God, technology is crazy sometimes, really. But we can see it from KF, so another big part of the... So you've got KRI and KF, two initiatives we're working alongside Kaspa. We have strong belief in Kaspa. You can see there's a new partnership announced, which is FinTax Official, which is very, very interesting. FinTax Official. So ultimately, FinTax Official is a crypto portfolio tracking and tax reporting tool. Making sure to do that. Yep. So it's FinTax is a crypto portfolio tracking and tax reporting tool that integrates with crypto exchanges, wallets, and services, simplifying complex crypto tax filings. I mean, it may not be such a big matter to those who may not have as much capital in crypto. You know, you may not have to have something to help do your own taxes. But if you've got sizable amount of capital, which there are people like that who have a lot of capital, you may benefit from something like this. You may benefit from something like this, indeed. So give me a half a second again to quickly load up the chat again. God, I can't believe that happens. It always happens midstream. Something always goes wrong midstream. Me and technology do not go hand in hand, I swear. Okay, now we can see. It should all be back now. It should all be back to good as new. So let me quickly load up that comment. See if it was working. Yes, okay, good. Right. Next up is space for Mr. Mars. Yeah, Mr. Mars is also going to do insane things. Yeah, Kappa Silver's also there. You know, you got to respect the hustlers in this space, so if you still have conviction in what they're holding. Kappa Silver's one of them. I like to believe I'm one of them. And yeah, good YouTubers on Casper. QC is their full-time respect. I mean, yeah, again, I thank you very much, D. I appreciate it very, very much. I obviously I have been expanding a little bit. I do still believe in Casper wholeheartedly, and I cover as much Casper news as possible, but I started expanding into more so general crypto, understanding the markets, which I do teach a lot more information about that in that regard in my executive community here, which again, if you want to find out more about that, link to join down in the description. Also on my homepage here as well, we cover a lot more in there. We're going to be doing our next weekly live stream tomorrow evening, so you can find out for free. But anyways, there's a lot more coming out, and I'm trying to provide what I can do. Tangent aside, that whole situation just completely messed in my head. So yeah, the KAF, the Capital Foundation, is glad to announce a partnership with FinTax Official for the US tax season sprint. This partnership may be more relevant for Kappa miners globally. So FinTax Official serves in multiple jurisdictions in the United States, Canada, Singapore, and Australia. It offers a community benefit for 10% discount and another 10% if paid in Casper by KEF. So Casper community can get a 20% discount for having, using their services here to help work out your taxes, which is very, very interesting. Very, very good to see. You've got other stuff as well. Crypto tax calculator, so more tax stuff is here as well. Crypto autos, which means you could buy supercars for Casper. You have listings like BTCC, you had Hybit, you also had Ascendex, and you seemingly have this leak of sorts with Binance. Binance made a post here saying only legends can solve this, find the right value, A plus A is B, B plus B is D, A plus D is E, so what's that? I'm not looking into too much detail, truth be told, so it could just be, FOMO farming and whatnot, but, guess what project ultimately scales? Starts with letter K, which is then the alphabet and alphabetical order, and it's got similarly the numbers similar here. It says B plus D plus E equals 11 here, which does correlate again to this here. So it may be another leak again. So, I mean, it could, again, with Binance, let's say they're always kind of reaching, truth be told, but this could be correlating to that, showcasing once again about what's coming through. Yeah. So the expression we worked out was B plus D plus E equals 11.11A, which shows that everything ultimately scales with whatever value you choose for A. And of course, ultimate scale element being Casper. Casper is one that projects that ultimately scale. There's a lot more in regard coming to Casper, a lot more stuff to look forward to. Casper has recorded the highest community sentiment in the crypto market. So despite the price being so far down right now, sentiment is still at all-time highs, the highest in crypto, which is once more again a testament to the community and our strength, and that we are still here. Some other content creators may have fallen off, and that's fair enough. In my belief, they'll be back. And we'll be here the whole time, talking about crypto and Casper and what is to come. And yeah, we can see Casper right now, volume-wise, has dropped below 100 million again, which is unfortunate. Still seeing domination from the likes of Gate, and equally BTCC is still up there, 18.69%. Mexi's 11, XT's 10, BitGet and Bybit 7 and 5. The volume will be coming back, I'm sure, in due time. The big announcements. Right now, there's nothing coming out in the immediate short term. I say that 10 BPS is not far off. 22 days and 19 hours, Buffalo Theory highlights here, so it's not far off at all. Wait, that does match up. It does match up, yes. So yeah, it does. So it's not far off at all, and that will be that'll be a huge day. It won't necessarily be an event catalyst. It might not cause the price to rally, but it will be a huge day, no less. And with, again, confirmation from Casper Door that you will see a mainnet launch seemingly coming out in, not months. So again, could be May, could be June. And stablecoins also speculated to be coming out sometime May as well. At least the development opcodes for it coming out in May, so actual launch probably in June. You might see a lot of big things happening in Q2 when the M2 is starting to rally up again, which I'm going to just bring the visualizer back here, the indicator back here. We could just follow it quite religiously, we can see. You can see right now Bitcoin again is kind of following it quite diligently, and it should start to make a rally in correlation to the M2. So you might see, again, it depends on the tariff news. We see Bitcoin going up right now. See Bitcoin come up and down, following it. It's got an 80% correlation, so it's quite a good indicator. Not something you should live or die by, but it's good to see. And, you know, with also the inflation data that came out on, was it yesterday? The CPI data came out. It was not yesterday. It wasn't yesterday. I think it was Thursday. We had the non-farm payroll that came out on the 6th, and then on the 12th. No, non-farm payroll came out on the 4th and the 10th. So it was 2 days ago. So the jobs currently are up, inflation's currently down, which is a good indicator for rate cuts. So we could see a lot more of that coming out in that regard. And equally, we've got some big crypto developments as well. We've got a summary here. No, that's not the wrong one. This one here from the SEC, acting chairman Mark Yeda. And by the way, Paul Atkins is not far from taking office right now. His remarks on the crypto task force at the roundtable. So over 200 years ago, stockbrokers gathered under the buttonwood tree to establish basic rules for the trading of securities on an organized market in New York. We're at a similar point in time in the history of markets as we discuss crypto asset trading regulations in the United States. Under the accommodating federal regulatory framework, some market participants would likely prefer to offer trading in both tokenized securities and non-crypto securities assets under the single SEC license rather than in non-security crypto assets in under 50 different state licenses. However, in federal securities law, and regulations may represent compliance challenges for broker-dealers and national securities exchanges seeking to offer trading in tokenized securities, so compliance with the order protection rule may not be achievable in some cases. So there is a kind of a general update here, but it's just highlighting, that we're currently going through a very, very critical time, a massive moment in history where they're trying to actually lay out clear rules for crypto trading. We're already seeing crypto payments being accepted in certain states. I think New York just filed a bill to use crypto as payments. So we're seeing big developments. This stuff is more important than Trump tariff news. That's noise. That's short-term pullback and noise. This is actually setting up the foundation for where crypto is going to go later half of the cycle, happening this year and years to follow as well. And we have so much more information that we do cover in our weekly live streams, and equally I'll post it. I've been a bit slacking recently, I'll be honest, but we post information in our community here as well, the VIP group, which talks about, all the big developments for institutions and what they're looking at and what project they're looking at and the time frame they have it in mind as well. And it all is taking place this year, and you have to follow. So if you want to know more about that, again, highly recommend wop.com, the VIP group, Coin Factory here, link down below in the description, also homepage here as well. It's insane what's coming to the space, absolutely insane. And Kaspa, for me, what they're building is huge as well. A lot of our articles in there actually talk about PwC, and we just spoke about the KRI. That is huge, huge news. KRI, PwC partnership. So you could see some correlation to what they're talking about the KRI. There was a post I saw earlier. Was it this? There was one post I saw earlier. It was might be Kaspa Silver here as well, which I think I care to agree. Was it this one? Or there's a post I saw, I think it was just talking about how might be in this one here. Yeah. Why is Kaspa being avoided like the plague by the big players? I can't figure that part out, even with Crescendo just being 3 weeks away. Listed on almost all global exchanges, but not by the big ones in the United States except for Kraken. And I agree with Kaspa Silver here. I wouldn't say they're being avoided, but I'm saying they're being strategically ignored. I think Kaspa, if they listed Kaspa right now, they have the chance right now to accumulate more and more Kaspa at lower prices. So you want to, ignore it right now, where you can scoop up cheaper and then make the announcement when everyone's going to be late for it. But we've been here before institutions. We've been here much longer. Some of us have been here before Marathon started mining Kaspa back in September 2023. I haven't been, unfortunately, but I'm close to that. I think I got in and around Marathon, actually. I think it was shortly after September. Where was that? It's about, I got in and around here. So I was in and around that time. And then I bought a lot more when it actually ran it up. But again, what's coming up to Kaspa is absolutely huge. The crypto space is absolutely huge. I have no doubt we're going to see some very big things coming through. More partnerships, KR announcing more projects. Absolutely insane stuff. So is Kaspa's price terrible? Yes. Is the market's great? I mean, right now they're definitely not doing the best. But is the cycle over? Anything can happen, of course. Black Swan event, be it that it may. But for me, not financial advice. I think we've got a lot more coming. And the conviction comes from this information here, and equally what I provide in the VIP group again, in a lot more detail and a lot more institutional insight as well. There's a lot more we provide in there, not just research and live streams, also provide trading alerts and educational content as well. If you want to find out a lot more, links down below in the description, also my homepage as well. Kaspa is a hidden. It's not even hidden. I mean, I guess not even a hidden gem. It's just it's a faded gem. You know, it's not hidden by any means. It's just a faded gem. People are not looking at it right now, but they soon all will. As Paul Van Son says, and I completely agree. The big adventure begins, buckle up, no doubt. Trump should end this tariff war, it will only backfire. I mean, maybe, but who knows? Maybe it's by design to lower the refinancing of debt, but again, we can't say for sure. We'll have to wait and see how it goes from here. Welcome back, Eternal Night, my man. Hope you're doing very, very well. They give you a belt, first stop, and then the direction is unknown. It will be like a black hole. It will suck everything in. I mean, yeah, the terms of TA and stuff like that. Yeah, I think from what I've seen from my sources, there's a suggestion that we've got some strong resistance here and this zone here. But then after this, I mean, there'll be new zones that form, of course. You've still got a lot of levels of resistance. You've got one here, one here, one here, and so on and so forth. But from what I've seen right now, the big cell walls here, once we supersede this and surpass that, it could be potentially quite a clear run up to these little highs again. And as Kathy Wood stated, longer the base, bigger the breakout. Kaspa's had a very, very long base, so the breakout could be explosive, considering what's coming up through it as well. If we can get it into space, my question is, if you have a worldwide EMP, will it save Kaspa? Will it save Kaspa Tech? Well, I mean, as Kryptoni highlighted and, you know, mentioned, it basically gives Kaspa edge protection from, you know, potential government overreach as well. Or someone mentioned that at least, and I think, yeah, it makes sense. It can give Kaspa extra protection from, you know, something that could happen. I think someone mentioned it here about, was it in here? Oh yeah, it was Chris Kang, yeah, the difference of it, and he was saying it might just give me extra protection. And Kryptoni said, you know, Coney is for fault protection and blockchain history snapshots. So it's basically the cloud backup for the entire chain in case of an anomaly. So if something happens, someone tries to break into Kaspa, you've got the whole data backup in space. You can't get into that, you know? Once Kaspa is in space, it becomes immune to Earth-based disasters, censorship, and even internet outages. Exactly. It is so huge. So that is such a massive, massive announcement to be made. You know, the first ever block tag in space is like unfathomable. Welcome back, Andy, my bro. You're doing very, very well. Got 55 more Kaspa. Love to hear it. Very, very nice indeed. When something is so valuable, you have to send something into space to keep it protected. You know what I mean? KLR do what they can do to protect Kaspa with the true decentralized nature of the capture. They're trying to do everything they can do, and I'm loving it. I won't forget the interview with Christian Ludwig, who was convinced that Kaspa will take over stablecoins. They'll tokenize everything in the not too distant future. I mean, what Kaspa's building is so innovative that, you know, it might take a long time. You know, it's not going to be a, you know, immediate switch over, but it might take some time. But I think Kaspa, what they're building, if Kaspa ends up building these these virtual machines with other chains, think about it. Why would you use Ethereum or Solana or Tron or even XRP when you've got a truly decentralized ledger, so you've got more security, while it's as quick, if not quicker, and it's decentralized? Like, you've got something that is just head and shoulders faster, cheaper, true decentralized, so more security and decentralized. So in that regard, then why would you use the chain you're used to when you can use the same? You haven't got to do anything. You've got to use the same tools, and you just use it on a different platform, on a different infrastructure. There's no downside to doing that. So in that regard, then I mean, I care to agree. I did hear the interview as well. And I care to agree that in due time, Kaspa will take over the whole of those markets. And I think it has the potential to do so. I do think there'll be multiple winners. You know, you might have some entities who want to have a centralized authority so they can have, you know, control over it. You might have people who want to use Ripple because, you know, they can potentially control Ripple as a company. But you can't control Kaspa. It's decentralized, and you can't buy up enough of it to control it. It's too decentralized. So, and with more supply, and the supply getting more and more scarce, it's going to be harder and harder to try and take control of it. So I think Kaspa is going to be adopted by many going forward. And again, Paul Van Son says as well, and KI says as well. But there'll be multiple winners, but I think Kaspa will be one of the bigger winners. When will Kaspa moon just after reaching orbit? You know what I mean? On the check-in, Mr. Mars in the front office to please. Yeah, Mr. Mars is not here, looks like right now, not that I can see, but hey, he's just, you know, he's just sleeping from all the Kaspa news, man. He just can't get enough of it. He knows, spiritually, he knows what's happening to Kaspa right now. Influencers faded because Kaspa doesn't pay to shill. They will soon for ad revenue. That's what I mean. Again, like, some people just talk about Kaspa because they like the project, and then because the price is doing bad right now, they've gone to the next meta thing. That's why a lot of people shift to Sui at the time. I do think Sui is not a bad project in regards to getting big into cycle, most definitely. Is it a great long-term play? I can't say for sure. I think Casper's going to do better long term with what they're building, but I have more information about Casper in that regard anyways. But even then, comparing the two is not fair because Sui's proof of stake and Casper proof of work, so they're like comparing apple and oranges almost. But a lot of people in the space as influencers, they're shilled to talk about projects. I was actually, and I'm going to say this only once, but I was actually asked to talk about Pi, the Pi coin, and I didn't want to because I just didn't think it was right. Of course, if I get asked to shill something, if I'm getting paid, I might end up doing it. Who knows? But Pi was one that I didn't have any belief in, or I didn't feel was right to do. So I could have obviously made a good bag from it, but I was like, no, it's not fair to do. Because I know also the community of us here, we don't want Pi. We don't respect, we don't like Pi. We think it's wrong. So I was like, well, I'm not going to disrespect my community by talking about something that people don't believe in. While I know people pretty much only believe in Casper here, there's something you can get away with. Like Sui I can get away with talking about. I'm not paid to talk about Sui, full disclosure, but I get away with talking about Sui. I don't think I would feel wrong talking about Pi. But yeah, I mean, again, people will come back when the Casper starts going up. People who faded Casper and stop talking about it, here will come back again when it does come back here again. But we'll be here the whole time. And we have been talking about the alpha information every single time it's announced. And we have a community, a free community where it has all the leaks and information linked in there. So if you want to find it, quick access, you can just go in there. So while people will be coming back, doing a general update and a deep dive research, we'll be talking about it and we would have covered it already. No people sleeping on Casper are just mentally challenged. I mean, you can say that, definitely. You could definitely say that. Casper had a healthy institutional distribution, tells me big players are in, which is good long term. And yeah, I would say the same thing as well. That's also why I think Grayscale, again, they're preparing to list Casper. Which again, I'm going to release the video in probably about half an hour or so, covering another structured element of the stream and ultimately Grayscale potentially about to list Casper. $10 Casper 2029, this is a long-term game, maybe even higher, who knows? Casper the only proof of work with new technology on the market right now. We literally don't have any other more or less good new proof of work with potential. Litecoin is dead, XMR is suppressed by governments, Bitcoin still a value. Yeah, true, but equally there is Tau. Tau is also a proof of work, but it's AI and not layer 1 infrastructure. But I mean, Tau's also a proof of work, and Tau's going to be a big one because of AI. I think AI is going to be huge. And again, information about AI and my bullish stance on it, again, is available in a hell of a lot of detail, actually, for institutions in my VIP group again. That's why Tau's one of my picks, and other ones that I mentioned in my community there as well, big AI picks. AI is going to be huge going forward, so I'm looking forward to that. Casper's my big bag, but I think I'll definitely start in some AI projects as well. Welcome back, Art Zerma man, who's doing very, very well. What's up, Jay? I got liquidated from the prompt short, a new scam that went up 500% in 3 days because the exchanges just manipulate the price but don't want to list Casper. I mean, yeah, exchanges right now, they're doing what they can do to just make money off Casper. It's frustrating. That's kind of why I don't personally trade. I do trade, make money here and there on the side, but I don't trade Casper. Maybe it's just me personally, but I don't trade Casper. I think I personally, the one I trade the most actually is Ethereum, which that's what, in my community we have C Crypto, who's an experienced trader, and we talk about it with our members in there as well. We talk about the assets that, looking at the markets and whatnot, and Ethereum's a big one because Ethereum does tend to be more structured in following the fundamentals. It's got very clear structures. Bitcoin's a bit hit or miss, and Casper, again, is very, very manipulated, so it's hard to truly judge where it's going to go. But Ethereum is more easy to understand, so we talk about a lot about Ethereum. We trade other assets as well. Want to find out more about that, again, link down below in the description. Also my homepage, wop.com/Quantum Factory, the VIP group in there. Usually the most hated crypto is a sleeping giant for the next rally. Also very true. And we'll see Casper bear fruits this cycle and years to come as well, no doubt. Hail Casper. Casper is going to be insane, no doubt. 100 BPS, 2029. We haven't got a ton of 100 BPS, but we do know that some players want to do that, and he might do it by 2029, who knows? That'd be insane. All proof of stake is doomed to fail. I mean, there's definitely a contingent to say that. I'd say that much, yeah. There's definitely because again, it's just it fell to the basic fundamental of being crypto. But you got to understand again, institutions institutions right now, the world we're in is very, very centralized. All the government, they have control. Crypto can remove that control. So, there are some who will come into the space who are looking That's why you have people like Kevin O'Leary, who's heavily talking about Sui. You know, and I think Sui will do well again, but Sui is proof of stake. So in that regards, Sui can be controlled by central entities. Kaspa's not. So I think proof of stakes, a lot of them are doomed to fail. 99% of crypto will doomed to fail, but I think some will survive because it gives the higher up, the smart money, something they can control, which they want to have control. But Kaspa's going to be what they're going to use for Kaspa is going to be so disruptive that they can't afford to fade it. They have to use it in general and just have to accept they can't control it anymore. But anyway, with that being said, and you're very, very welcome. And again, of course, there might be times I'll do it in the future, but I just thought Pi was just one that I just didn't feel like was right for me to do. But that being said, hope you all enjoyed today's Daily Kaspa and Crypto FOMO. So much incoming. Absolutely huge alpha. I'm going to be releasing a video in about half an hour, so stay tuned for that to get another insight of what's coming to the space, Grayscale listing, KRI project, and so much more. Very, very early. Very, very early. When you watch the all 5 player videos, you understand why Proof of doomed to fail. Okay, I take your word for it, and I've been saying it a lot recently, and I do apologise. It's been a very, very busy couple of weeks for me. I'll watch the next 3 over the next 2-3 days. I'll promise you that, and I will stick to that. Next 2 or 3 days, I'll watch the next videos, and I'll give an understanding, hopefully, of why Proof of Stakes are doomed to sell. But that being said, if you enjoyed, as always, feel free to leave a like, share, subscribe for more. And again, thank you very much, Kryptoni, for the donation. Everyone who watched again, you are all legends. We are here, we are early, and we will, celebrate in due time when Kappa starts to make his rally. We're very early, a lot of stuff coming to it, and that is why I'm so bullish on Kaspa. And I mean, crypto in general, the bear market could be on the cards, but I'm not there yet. We've still got QE, still got rate cuts, still got policies from regulatory clarity, like so much more to come. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share, subscribe for more. If you want to know about crypto and other market sentiment, come and check the free community, links in the description, homepage here as well. VRP group, a lot more information in there as well, which, VI, we're going to be doing our alpha executive roundtable, talking about these documents tomorrow. Do come join and check that out as well. And we're going to be hopefully providing some educational sources in there, like, trading information as well, like how to learn how to trade amongst trading picks and everything else. But if you want to find out more, again, links down below in the description, homepage here as well. But have a great day, good evening, and good night, everyone. Hope you have a very, very good day and good weekend. And we'll be back same time tomorrow, most likely. So I'll see you all then. Take care now, and don't be emotional, be logical.